All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakah Kodash. Want to give double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations and many blessings to the elect Akim across the four winds of this earth, and those are the men kicking this word in sincerity and in truth, feeding the flock, doing whatever they need to do pertaining to the kingdom of heaven and how to receive it. Okay, I'm the brother Sha'ar from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, and as I was thinking about a topic to go into, you know, it was kind of inspired by the brother out in Los Angeles. You know, I believe his name is Michael Allah Salaki if I'm wrong, but kind of like, you know, when you don't know what really to talk about and what to go into, just pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. So, you know, it was done in the spirit, had led me to going into the straight gate, you know, and it was inspired when I was driving, and you know, we all catching hell, we're all going through certain things like a mug. Like, I know it ain't just our camp, it's the whole body, it seems like. And as I'm riding, it was a traffic jam, and the highway was pretty broad at first, but it jammed up because there was construction going on, and it got to the point where it was only one lane and only one car could go at a time. And this is while I'm going through what I was going through. And you know, I took it as the spirit telling me this is the straight gate and this is the only way. You know, symbolically, that's what I looked at it as. You know, so I believe wholeheartedly that was the message that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai wanted to deliver to me within that exact moment. All right. So I'm gonna say this: through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we asked, and it's been given. We're being strengthened, we're being refined, we're in the process of being glorified. We ask for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to talk to us, to show us things, and this is the only way that we'll be able to receive these things, is by this straight gate, through this path of hardships. And as you read it, and this is actually what made me inspired, as I was riding on that road, and as there was only one car able to go at a time, you know, it made me think of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. And I'm driving right now, you know what I mean? So I can't really just pull it up right now, but you know, I'm gonna explain it to the best of my ability. You know, it goes into a road, and the broad city is at the end of it, full of all good things, right? And on that road, on the left side, there's a large body of water, and on the right side, there's a large body of fire. And the road is very slim, and only one can go at a time. And that was pretty much how I was explaining. This was a loose comparison, a loose paraphrasement of what it says, more so an abridgment, right? But looking at it that way, on one side is water, on one side is fire. Each way leads to your destruction if we don't keep our balance on this tightrope. The apostles like to compare it to a tightrope, you know, because you have to be really focused while you're on a tightrope, and it takes an experienced individual to walk a tightrope. All right, and this goes the same way within this gate, within this road. All right, because when you read it here in Matthew, I believe it's in Matthew the 5th chapter. I'm sorry, hold on, I'm gonna just pull it up while the traffic jammed up a little bit. I got time to look at it on my phone. Bear with me one sec, Baba Kasha. All right, so Salakia, it's in Matthew the 7th chapter. All right, and it says, "Enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way." And as much as we go into this scripture here, it's a heavy hitting scripture, and it's a scripture that, of course, never gets old, right? So with that being the case, looking at it, man, you know, of course, through the more experience that we gain, through the more seasoning that you acquire in this walk of the truth, it hits you more and more the longer you're here. And I'm only somebody that's been in here for about four years and some change, so I haven't had as much experience as one of the older brothers or the elders of the apostles. I haven't, but just looking at it in my little bit of experience that I have within this thing, you know, when it hits home, the more you read it, because this is the only way, the straight gate. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we got what we asked for. This is the way that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai talks to us. This is the only way that he'll be able to continue to talk to us. We're going to have to go through these things, but he's going to show us things while we're going through this. And this gains our experience up. This gains our balance up. This gains our strength. This builds us up in many levels. This is the elevation process. And as we're on this gate, and the closer we are to the kingdom, because we know the kingdom's right down the way. We see prophecy taking place. Things are happening through the spirit a lot. And as we get further within this position of difficulty, which is the straight gate, the room for error gets slimmer and slimmer, right? Now, of course, speaking as a man, speaking as somebody who has flesh, just like the last of us, it's going to be some times we're going to lose the battle, right? This is a war. This is warfare. But that doesn't mean ultimately that you can just slack, all right? Because Satan will try to put in our heads that you can slack a little bit, you know? And you might lose sometimes. Again, we're in the flesh. And Paul considered himself a wretched man, knowing that we are in the flesh and knowing that we will fall to certain things. But that doesn't mean stay down. That means get your ass back up and keep fighting, you know. But as we're on this position, it's less and less room for error, because we have to have a sharpening eye. When I say that, when you look at a soldier in the battlefield, or when you look at a samurai movie, you know, when they're at a position where it's the most perils around them, they have to use all the abilities that they've acquired throughout that time, and they have to execute it. And that's usually like the best showdown at the end of the movie. And we're approaching that part. All right, we haven't really been through martial law yet. We haven't really been through none of the severe things, I should say, that the scriptures talk about yet. That's what we're getting ready for. You know, we're getting ready for the big showdown as we get closer and closer to the straight gate, to the end of the gate, to the gate. All right. With that being the case, you know, the things that we've acquired so far, we got to use it to the best of our ability, and we got to continually train. Within that being the case, read the scriptures. You catch hell, go through it, take it in, and just say, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we go through, easier said than done, but hey, what else can we do? And let's say you do go off. Of course, this ain't just this thing. We can't just be going off. But let's say you do, because we are in the flesh. Got to just say, fuck it, and keep going. And hope and pray that Yahweh Shai has mercy on us. And keep fighting and keep moving forward. Because best believe you got a better chance moving forward. We have a better chance moving forward than dwelling on the stuff that we did or dwelling through the stuff that we're going through. All right. As Paul said, this is a race, you know, and he even said, don't look back at the things, but press toward the mark. All right. For the high prize, for the high calling. And that's what we're doing. All right. As we're here in the straight gate. I'm going to say it again, the third time. This is the straight gate. It ain't just one brother going through things. We're all going through these things, and this is refining us. This is the only way. There's no other way. As the scripture said in Matthew the 7th chapter, the 14th verse, it said, broad goeth the way of many. All right. And many go the broad way, because broad is the easy way. You can go any direction and you still see the end of it, because it's a broad gate. You can take detours. You can take your time. Right. You can sightsee, look at a bunch of different things. But when you're on that narrow gate, you don't got time to sightsee anything. Ezra explained it as, well, the angel actually explained it to Ezra, that it's like fire on one side and water on the other. Forget the sightseeing, it's death on each side. We try to go either way and we're going to fall. And it's so slim that only one person can go at a time. Because as soon as you go any of those other ways, that's our ass, Mr. Postman. That's our ass. You know? And with us seeing the fire and the water, we have to think logically. Like, if I fall either of these ways, I'm going to die. So I have to make sure that I stay on this way. Because it's the only way. And the prize at the end of it is better than anything that you can acquire. It's better than any Kwame Arsaala trophy. It's better than any Sekhmet award. It's better than any of these things. This is the high prize, the kingdom of heaven. Having rulership. Having that incorruptible crown that Yahweh Shai promised us if we continue to walk the path that he walked. Because he did it and he was the example. And best believe Yahweh Shai didn't accept no awards down here on this side when he was here in the flesh. All right. He didn't go to no award shows or anything like that, just as a footnote. But you know, that's not what this lesson was about, but I definitely had to throw that in there. You know, this is the only way. This is how we receive an incorruptible crown. This is how we receive a kingdom. This is how we receive rulership in the kingdom. This is how we receive an everlasting name, as the book of Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, talks about. All right, because you got men that want to seek a name, and they want to be praised by men and honored by men, which we know is balance involved. And even Paul mentioned it in Philippians, let another man esteem you rather than you esteem yourself. So it's cool having another man esteem you, but take it with a grain of salt, and don't let it get to your head, you know, because this ain't our gift. This isn't our spirit that we have. This is a piece of Yahweh Shai's spirit that he had given to us. And then he clearly told us, in order to have this, you're gonna have to drink of this cup. And drinking of that cup is going through this gate, this path, this being in this position. All right. Jake want to take the easy way out, but the easy way is the way that leads to destruction. You ain't never heard about no dope ass champion that took the easy road, man. They don't get awarded as much. Even let's say they get some type of corruptible award, they can't really appreciate it because it was easy. You play a video game and you got the hardest difficulty, then hard, then intermediate, then novice. Jake want to beat the game on novice and say, oh yeah, man, yeah, I'm a beast in this game. Using that as an analogy for all the Jakes that play games. It's like, man, no, man, I didn't die. You know, and that's an analogy again for the Jakes that play game. You ain't even die one time and beat the whole game. You know, you ain't get experience. You just went over there and just hacked and slashed your way to the end. Got shot 100,000 times and kept running toward it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, granted, you know, it's good to be like that, works on your armor, but Jake know what I mean when I say that, man. When you play it on hard or expert, it's real hard. You got to think before you make decisions. And that's just one analogy out of many analogies that can be used. You know, the hardest way is the way that you'll gain the most experience, and that's the way that you'll be glorified and keep that everlasting name, that promised name, that name that's going to be mentioned throughout our seeds for generation and generation, for forever, if we continue to move. You know, we don't want to be those guys in the kingdom that look back and actually see the things we've done and think of it and be in shame and contempt. No. We want to look back and be like, man, I went through all this and died for Yahweh's sake. Died daily for Yahweh's sake. That's the hardship. That's the straight gate. It's not easy to die. It's not easy to cut a limb off. It's not easy to do none of those things. But if we operate with the swiftness and do it, knowing that is what we have to do, it's a prize at the end of it. But the only way to receive the prize is going through that straight gate, being within that position. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakodash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, citations, and many blessings to you elect Akim, fighting across the four winds of this earth, kicking this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom.